Having a rough morning. Is that yours? And Newsom. Yeah. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I shouldn't have to get you guys excited about this week, right? Got a big one coming up on Saturday in Durham. North Carolina A&T is coming off a loss at home to Delaware. This week we head up to Durham to take on those Eagles at O'Kelly Riddick Stadium. As always, we have our head coach with us, Vincent Brown. Our special guest is our kicker, Andrew Brown, and our linebacker, Matt David II. But without further ado, let's bring up our head coach, Mr. Vincent Brown.
It is still a great day in Aggie Land. Yes, it is. And you know, there's probably going to be the detractors that say, well, Coach, why do you say that? And I say that because I have a very clear understanding of what my mission and my purpose is here. It is to educate our young men, to develop them, and to win football games. And I know the order in which those should occur. There are many detractors or critics that would sacrifice the development of our kids and their education for the sake of winning. We're not going to do that. And I believe we're doing things the right way. Our kids are going to class, they're doing what they're supposed to do in the community, and they're improving on the football field. The reality is we've played 3 games of a 12-game season, one against a Power 4 opponent, another against a team moving up to the FBS level that already has 85 scholarships, that was in the FCS quarterfinals last season, a very talented team. So I'm not going to let the fact that we didn't come out on top Saturday deter me or our staff from the things that we know that we're capable of doing. I've seen tremendous improvement in all areas of what we're doing. For those that were with us last year, you remember it took us probably 4 games before we even cracked 100 yards passing. Really challenging times. We're not anywhere close to where we want to be, where we're going to be, but we are better. When we look back on the film, we see the things that we can improve on. The things that caused us to lose the game on Saturday, explosive plays. Defensively, we gave up 9 explosive plays. It's hard to win that way. And then offensively, we did not produce the explosive plays that we needed in the passing game when they loaded the box to stop the run. So there's lessons to be learned from us as a coaching staff, me in particular, as the head of this operation, but for our players also, on how the details always matter in whether you win or lose. Now, on to this week. New week, new opponent. Very excited about Aggie Eagle Week. We know what's at stake. We know the pride in which our alums and our football alums have for this game coming up. We know it's going to be a very hostile environment. It'll be a fun environment to go in and play. And I think our game 2 weeks ago at home with a lot on the line will help prepare our kids to understand, hey, it's not always going to be easy. You're going to have to fight, claw your way to win some of these games. And so with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach, so most coaches say we want to take each game one at a time. How do you balance just having a regular, like we're going to play this with another game, and also saying this is rivalry week, this is essential? How do you balance that emotional shift?
Well, this is the next game. And I understand that, there's a lot of love and rivalry centered around this game, but we'll have 8 more games after this one. And so every week we're focused on trying to find a way to win that particular game, that game only. And we know the things that we need to improve on. We talk about it. We structure our meetings. We structure our practices, our drills, all with the mindset of how do we improve on what we put on display last week. And so, yeah, it's easy to stay focused on this opponent.
But you have some key guys, especially offensively, that were sidelined last week. Where are you guys health-wise headed into the rivalry?
We're getting healthy. We expect several of the guys that did not play last week to be available this week. Today is their NCAA day off, so there's no meetings or practices. Tomorrow, we expect most of the guys to be back and hope to be at near full strength for the game Saturday.
And you mentioned the game 2 weeks ago against WSSU kind of helping leading into this week. Is that kind of conversations that you've had with the guys? Like, hey, we've been here before in these big-time matchups already?
Yeah, after that game, we talked about being resilient and how you have to find a way to fight back. And, you ignore all the outside noise and whatnot and just focus on the moment of, hey, here's what we need to do right now to win the game. And I truly believe that the way that game unfolded and the way our kids responded at the end will pay dividends for us throughout the course of the season.
Coach, in terms of NC Central, just how would you describe this different schemes they run offensively and defensively?
Yeah, so first and foremost, it's really not about their schemes. They play really, really hard. Defensively, they're built for speed. They chase the football. They're sound. They don't do a lot of things exotically. They get after the quarterback. They play a couple of different coverages, and they let their guys go play. Offensively, they have some really talented players. The back, number 4, is a good player. They got a big-time receiver in number 88, and the quarterback can make all the throws. They're very multiple in what they do, and they present some real challenges. And we know, that has been one of the better teams in FCS football over the last 4 or 5 years. A little different operation this year, but we expect the same amount of energy trying to beat us.
I know you mentioned the quarterback. I know some might be familiar with Davius Richard, who last couple of years, one of the best HBCU players in the nation. How do you describe the quarterback position, what it looks like with a new quarterback now that Richard is gone?
Yeah, it's radically different. And, I'll just say Davius was one of the best quarterbacks in FCS football, not just HBCU football. He was a big, talented kid that could run, accuracy, passing the football. The quarterback that they have now, Walker Harris, different style player, not as big, not as much of a run threat as Davius was, but he's a talented passer. And like most good coaches, Coach Oliver and the staff has done a good job of kind of crafting what they're doing around the skill set of the player.
Making the opposing quarterback under the rest has been a challenge this year. I think right now you're last in the CAA in sacks, only 2 on the season. You were towards the bottom last year of sacks. Has that been an emphasis trying to find a way to manufacture pressure?
Yeah, if you watch us play, we bring a lot of pressure on 3rd down in particular, and sometimes on 1st and 2nd down. The challenge with that is, you can put your back end on an island and really kind of expose some challenges of covering when they know you're a high-pressure team. We want to be more productive rushing the passer. We know we need to affect the quarterback more, and we've addressed that. We'll go back and schematically continue to work on those things. We had some opportunities on Saturday, but again, guy loses contain, inside rush lanes not balanced out, and so when you have young players playing, sometimes those are lessons that are learned the hard way.
Coach, earlier you talked about not being able to make those explosive plays down the field against Delaware. Looking at the film, was it something that Delaware was doing in particular, or was it KJ not seeing those guys when he had the opportunity? Yeah,
so we missed on a couple. We took a couple of shot passes and we missed. And then we just didn't take as many as we needed to. And so, as I mentioned to our staff, we gotta make sure we're looking at how we need to play to win the game. When you're playing against an offense that's known for producing a lot of points, then offensively, we got to find a way to produce points also.
How do you change that this week with Central?
Yeah, we'll work on trying to find the things that can take advantage of what they do defensively, while at the same time improving on the things that we missed on last week, and hopefully finding a better way to connect on those shot passes down the field.
You talk to the guys this week about emotions and keeping them contained in that type of environment with that type of rivalry.
Absolutely. Last year here, pregame, there's a whole lot of things happening that had nothing to do with what happens between the white lines. And we talk to our team all the time about the only thing that matters is what happens between the white lines and the whistle. And so you can't let the environment, the opponent, get you out of your game.
Hey, Coach, last year, how much do you take from last year's game? You were in that game last year. You were only down a point at halftime. Kind of shut out in the second half.
Yeah.
How much of that, I know you look, coaches love to talk about it's a new game, new team and everything else, but how much of that you were really close last year in terms of giving them a shot?
Yeah, we're not even looking back on that. We'll look back for self-scout purposes, but this is a new team, new players. Kevin, I think this will be start number 11 for him, maybe in his entire career. Got some different pieces in place, and so we're really just focused on how do we best utilize our kids this week in order for us to win the football game.
How much of a different team are they? I mean, Richard probably ran as well as he passed. And this kid, this left-handed kid now, definitely does not run the ball like that. So how does that change your preparation?
Yeah, I mean, when you have a dual threat quarterback, it becomes extremely challenging. But, like I said earlier, they've done a good job of scheming around the strengths of their quarterback, and they have talented players, and the running back's a good player. They find ways to get him the ball. They take their shot passes with the receiver, number 88. And so everything is just focused on the here and now. What do we need to do to eliminate the players and the plays that can cause you to lose games?
Speaking of explosive plays, how much of a loss was that having Cesar Monero and also Kenji Christian?
Yeah, anytime you lose the production that Kenji brings to the table, it impacts you. Caesar, one of our captains, the real anchor of our offensive line, makes all the calls, does a good job in leading our offense. And then we lost Jakari late in the game. So, you lose that kind of production. It has an impact. But my message to our team from day one is always about the next man up being ready. And so I realize that sometimes there's talent gaps between the first guy and the second guy. But the second guy has to be ready. And when your number is called, you got to be ready to produce.
So Monte Jones, what's the status on him?
Monte should be back at practice this week.
And I'm sorry, let's go through the list. So Caldwell, was he?
I'll know more about Jakari tomorrow. We just met with the athletic trainers. She was uncertain as to whether he'd be able to practice tomorrow. So I'll know more tomorrow.
Christian's definitely out.
No, we expect Kenji to be back.
Coach, the two guys we have today, triad alums, up and down the roster, a lot of triad guys from the area and the surrounding. How important is it, to keep a lot of the homegrown talent here at A&T?
It's very important. Anytime we play, whether it's a conference opponent or a rivalry, and I look at the roster and I see kids from the local high schools, I'll go back and see why they weren't recruited by us. And sometimes, kids don't have the academics to get into school here, and they can get into some other places. But we want to keep the best players from the greater Triad area and make A&T their home.
The Delaware game, it was weird. They had 3 possessions where they went forward on their side 50 on 4th down. Do you take that as a statement they're trying to make, or even more so, do you take that as any type of disrespect?
No, I don't. That was their MO coming into our game. 4th and short, they felt like against other opponents, they felt like they have a good enough defense and that their offense is good enough to pick up a yard or two.
Coach, I know the running game is usually a strong suit for this football team, but only 74 yards this past game. What was the difference you saw on tape in terms of technique, blocking, and maybe the factors that contributed to, not as much rushing as you?
Yeah, I think Delaware did a very good job of clogging up the inside run lanes. Their linebackers in that middle robber safety was down, attacking the box very aggressively. And as we said, post-game, looking at it, like anytime teams are loading the box and attacking your run game that aggressively, you have to be able to take advantage of it by taking some play-action pass shots. And we had a couple we missed. If you connect on them, maybe it's a different game.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep. Thank you all.
Next, we're going to bring up our kicker, Andrew Brown, having such a great season, already 2 50-yard field goals this season. That's the first time that's happened in our program history for a young man in his career, and just 5 for 5 on extra points, and just having a great, great year. So next up is Mr. Andrew Brown.
How's everyone doing? How you guys doing?
How much was the win a factor, sir?
It wasn't a huge factor. Of course, it affects everything. But if you hit a clean ball, the ball should cut through the wind. Same with punting, same with kickoffs. Of course, you have to play with the wind a little, but it's nothing terrible.
You didn't handle punting duties this past Saturday. Previously, you had done kickoffs, field goals, and punting.
Yes, sir.
Is that just to alleviate some pressure off your leg, or?
No, the past 2 weeks we've been working with DJ to get him up to college level, and he was there. It was just a confidence thing with him, and me and Coach Bankins were talking every week. How close are we? Where are we feeling with him? And this week I told him I think he's hitting a clean ball. I think he feels good, and I think he has the confidence to go out and perform. And this week's, the best week probably for him, because now we're going to get into conference play. And we need him as much as we need everyone else.
You sound almost like a player coach now, so
yeah.
Do the coaches kind of look at you as almost more of a leader than most?
Coach Bankins does, without a doubt, especially being one of the older guys in the special teams group. He'll come up and ask me, I may not know enough about long snapping or punting, but he'll come up and ask me, like, how are the guys doing? What are we seeing in practice? What, when we go to the other field where coaches are not there, what are we seeing? What are we doing? How are we improving? And so, I enjoy it. It's nice to be, trusted and looked at that way.
Andrew, you can hear the support in the room, obviously, as you take the podium, but just what support have you seen, being in the triad and just at the games and off the field, everything surrounding that?
It's a ton of love, especially from the fans here, the alumni. You come in, even when I get off the bus, home games, I'll hear people yelling my name, and normally I don't hear it as much, but it's really nice, especially to have fans around here, being from around here. People know my name, people know my family, they'll see them out, but it's really nice having local fans.
In terms of kicking, how were you first exposed to kicking? How did you, become a kicker?
So in middle school, my dad made me kick. I've just played soccer my whole life, and he was like, "You're gonna play in middle school." I was like, I did not want to at the time, and I just kept working with him, working on. We both, even to this day, we still talk about it. What can we improve on? Not watch film, but just they'll be at the games. Hey, I see this. What's going on? Text me, like, just keep your head low. Just stay mellow. And that really, up until sophomore year, it was kind of just like, hey, we're playing football. And then from then on, it was you have something special. Now work on it. So yeah.
Andrew, did you just say stay mellow?
Yeah, just like stay calm, keep your head. Try not to let it get to you.
Is there any such thing as a pressure kick?
There is. It's not anything different though.
What is a pressure kick?
Just like a game winner going into halftime, go ahead kick. Just any important. Really, all of them should be taken as a pressure kick, but you just have to treat them all the same. It's what you do in practice.
So I've asked you this before, like last year.
Mhm.
Is your range increased from last year to this year?
I'd like to say so. Yeah. After doing the rehab, I'd say it's probably increased by 3 or 4 yards.
To what?
Probably comfortably 55, maybe 57, depending on the day.
So 60 would be pressure.
60 would be a little bit of pressure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a preference you have from either hash mark?
Not really. Of course, you'd love to be down the middle. But, I feel comfortable from both sides. I think it's, the uprights don't move. They're still in the same spot. So I think it's all the same.
And then do you ever put your finger in the air, test the wind? Like how do you gauge wind issues?
Pre-game, usually, of course, it can change, but pre-game, I'll go to the coaches like, hey, going this way, let's say 55, going this way 52, just something along those lines where it's just seeing what I'm feeling in warm-ups, kicking both sides, and just getting prepared for, if we had to go out and kick a deeper field goal from one side.
So which is better, Andrew, your golf game or your kicking game?
Kicking. By far. Yeah, by far.
For those that maybe don't know what your day in and day out practice schedule is like, could you kind of take us through what your routine is like, the different drills you do, and how you prepare as a kicker for games?
Yeah, it's pretty simple, honestly. I like to keep it, just 1 steps, no steps, just working on technique, contact, simple things. You talk to any kicker, they all kind of say the same thing. It's just contact drills, make sure the ball's leaving your foot properly, good rotation, and from there on, as long as you're doing that, everything should go correctly in games.
Do you have any ambitions of performing at the next level?
Yeah. I would love to play in the league. Of course, I would love to, do something I enjoy and get paid to do it. I think it'd be awesome to, especially, coming from, I'm not saying West Davidson's small, but not many people come and do that out of that high school. So I think it'd be great to almost represent West Davidson and Lexington as a whole as playing in the league.
Have you heard from any evaluators on what they look for as far as an NFL kicker that where you need to get to, or are you?
I haven't heard any personally, but of course I've spoke to coaches, like trainers and stuff, and they have kickers in the league, and I even have some buddies who play. So when I do talk to them, we will, just communicate on, what they're looking for, range, height, just get off time, just pretty much everything you could think about for a actual position player, similar to a kicker. Yeah.
For those that maybe don't know you, what are maybe some of your passions, hobbies outside of football?
Of course, I love sports. I love watching soccer. It's my favorite pastime. I could sit there and watch it all day, but, I golf. I like to be outside, just be around family. It's the best things.
Do you have a favorite soccer team or soccer league that you follow in particular?
I do, yeah. The Premier League over in England. It's the top division, Manchester City. So, yeah. Yep.
There's been talk about A&T potentially having a soccer program in a few years. What would that be like?
That'd be awesome. I would love if they had one. Definitely could not play. Not after last time I played, but I would love it. It would be. I think it'd be great for the school, and I think it would have a lot of support. And I would love to go watch games.
I know a big game-tying kick against Winston-Salem State. To go to overtime. Could you kind of take us through that play, that moment? The emotions and kind of the play through that.
Yeah. So me and Coach Bankins were talking. Where do we need to get to? Earlier in the game, going into half, we had a 52-yarder. He said, can we get to that spot again? And would you feel comfortable hitting that? I told him, yeah. And of course, we got past there, and I was like, all right, that's a little. I can kind of take a deep breath a little more. And once we got there, it's just, you got to treat it the same. It's a 31-yarder. Take 3 steps back, 2 steps to the left. It's the same kick as every other one. So it's only thing is there's time running out, and it's a game-tying kick.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
I felt the Aggie love for you, man. Wow. Coming up now, we have Matt David II. He is a coach's son. Had a career game on Saturday, 13 tackles. Matt David II, ladies and gentlemen.
How you doing? How you doing?
Hey, Mr. David,
Yes.
you a little fired up on Saturday, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is there something they did? They say something or do something to get you?
No, they
A little animated, I noticed.
no, they did. It's just the game plan, and we just try to come out and win the game the best I can for my team. The coaches try to put you in the best position they can to make plays, and that's what they did.
So 13 tackles, what did you miss? What did the coaches tell you that you made 13 tackles, you led the team in tackles, but what did you not do well?
Mental mistakes and key eyes is the big part, and you just have to keep clean eyes, and that's a big part of that.
Mac, when you have a big rivalry game after a loss, does it help that you have such a big week ahead to kind of get over that a little quicker and get your mindset back right before the big rivalry?
It's just the next game. You treat it as the next game, and every week should be the same. But you know what's in stake with this game, and that's the thing.
Talk to Coach about the quarterback pressures. Is that a big thing you guys are putting emphasis on?
Right. Yes, ma'am. So we're just trying to figure out how to get the quarterback and just do the best we can with that.
Defensively, where do you think you guys are at through 3 games?
Say it again.
Defensively, where do you think y'all are at through 3 games?
I think we're in a good spot. We know we messed up on. We know what we need to improve, and that's what we're trying to do.
You mentioned Central just being the next game,
Right.
but you know what's at stake.
Right.
Bragging rights, the whole 9.
Right.
You talk to your guys about being calm with the emotions this week.
Yeah, you just want to play the game. You don't even need to talk to them. Just let your play do the talking, and that's what the coaches preach. And so that's what we try to do.
Coach, what excites you most about going into a hostile environment to play?
They want you to lose. Everyone's talking junk. They just want you to play bad and play to their level and get into their fight. But we're just going to play the game we know we can play.
In terms of this game against Central, I know being a linebacker, but in this particular game, what are the run fits you're looking at? What are the things that you think will be key in terms of stopping their running game?
Run fits are very important. We work on them every day. Coaches preach about them every day, and that's going to be a big factor in this game.
Are you related to Caleb, David?
Yes, that's my brother. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Covered him at West Versailles.
Oh, yeah.
I guess you played at West Versailles too.
Right, we play beside each other.
There you go.
So what was it about Delaware that, this is your career high in tackles, right?
Yes, sir.
What was it about what they were doing that allowed you to, you never had double digits tackles before,
Right.
Have you at A&T?
No, sir, I haven't.
What do you think it was Saturday?
The coaches just put you in the best position to make plays they can, and when your number's called, just make the play.
I'll ask you the same question, just being from the triad and having the local support. What's that been like for you?
It's been great. Text messages, calls. It's just great to feel love, and that's what it is.
I spoke with Kate Valdor, and he said you were unquestionably the hardest hitter on the What type of physicality you try to bring to the game?
I just try to bring physicality. It's just hard hitting, passion, love for the game, and you can just see that on the field, and helps bring my brothers and defensive players together and play as hard as we can.
I know it was mentioned, you have a football family background and whatnot. How were you first brought up into the game, and just what was your experience like playing football as a kid and then, growing up now into the college level?
It's just something we love to do where we're from. It's just a hobby, something you love, and you have to work hard at it if you want to be good at it. And so it's just the same thing going to college level. If you want to be good at it, you have to work hard at it.
Was there ever a particular point where football went from just being, just something you played to something you thought you had high potential in, had a talent for?
When I first started playing, middle school, high school, college, I just love playing football.
How many games have you started?
I'm not sure on that question. But this is this season 3.
You started all 3?
Yes.
You didn't start any last year?
No, sir.
For those that haven't seen you play, just how do you describe your technique, your skill set, what you bring to the table at that position?
My technique, I just try to perfect my technique. Your first step, your eyes, everything is your first step in eyes. And so that's what we try to work on every day in practice.
Do you have any particular players you watch on film that you like to emulate, or any coaches that have had a big impact on you or anything like that?
All my coaches have impact on me. It's not really emulate a specific player. I just try to be the best player I can be.
So it says here on your profile that you were signed as a fullback.
Fullback, running back, linebacker.
Either way.
Right, yes, sir.
Did you think you're gonna play more fullback than linebacker, or how did that work out?
They gave me the opportunity to kind of choose what I wanted to do, where my heart was at, and I love linebacker.
I know you were the Defensive Player of the Year for the Journal a couple years ago. What were maybe your biggest highlights playing at West Forsyth?
The camaraderie of West Forsyth as a whole. It's like it's another family like here, and just playing beside your brothers, and beating East Forsyth, another highlight, just having fun.
How would you compare the Village and Aggieland?
They're very similar because the love you feel from your community, people around you, is very similar.
It says that your father played at App State.
Yes, sir.
The Aggie fans not gonna hold that against you. What position did he play?
He played inside linebacker.
Oh, so family thing.
Yes, sir.
Well, he was a 3-time All Southern Conference player. Did you see him play, or were you before you were born?
It was before I was born. I seen some videos, but it was before I was born.
Does he play like you?
Yes, sir.
And where is your father a coach now?
He's not a coach right now.
Oh, he was a coach before.
Yes.
He coached you coming up?
Yes.
What do you believe will be the biggest key factors in terms of determining the outcome against Central?
Say it again.
What do you believe will be the biggest key determining factors in terms of the outcome against Central this week?
Just keeping eyes clean and playing as a group. If we play as a group, it's very hard to beat us, and I think that's the biggest outcome on Saturday.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Great job. As always, we have some lunch ready for you here today, and